Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody's still fresh and listening. So we've got a lot of interesting information with these panels, and this panel in particular, of course, I'm a fan since I'm leading it with all these wonderful people. But we are talking about pursuing strategic business strategies. So first of all, I'm going to read off the bios. We're going to go through a couple of slides. I'm going to make sure that everybody is on track with the questions that we have put together very specifically and strategically for our panelists, and then we can move forward, okay? So first of all, again, my name is Christy Villanueva, and I am the president of the West San Antonio Chamber of Commerce. Thank you. I've been president of the chamber for more than 13 months now, but not new to business ownership and small business initiatives. I know how difficult it can be. So today, as a representative of the chambers, I can tell you that the business alliances that you can build through the chambers is very important as you're moving through your day-to-day life, okay? Now, not every chamber is for every person. There's a lot of people who get upset with me about that. But you need to know as a business owner that it has to fit. If you are investing your money in any organization, association, or chamber, it has to fit your mission. My mission must align with your mission. And that's how we become partners instead of just a consumer relationship. I don't want your money as a member if it's not going to benefit you and if we're not lining up together so we can work for the long term. So that's why it's so important for you to be engaged and to be selective with who you partner with. So that's my perspective. Let me start with our panelists here. Jennie Dufresne, she is the Chief Executive Officer for Dufresne Solutions Group. Jennie is the CEO, is a leadership development and training firm. My apologies. As a result of working with her firm, mid-level managers build great teams, turnover is reduced, and a company culture is vibrant and happy. Jennie's 10-year service as a United States Marine forms her leadership foundation as a trailblazing leader. She applied these leadership lessons and founded the only all-male public charter elementary school in Washington, D.C. She is the best-selling author of the book, From Empty to Overflow. In the book, Jennie highlights 5 radical actions women leaders need to create happy, harmonious, and joyful lives. Jennie holds degrees from Harvard and George Mason University. Please welcome Jennie Dufresne. Secondly, we have Matt Houston. He is the principal of MLH Enterprises, a Dallas-based firm that provides education, professional development, and leadership consulting to organizations across the country. Clients have included the Nelson Mandela Foundation, KIPP, Charter School Systems, Centurion America, and other corporations in the North Texas region. Matt was previously executive director of Group Excellence, a mentoring and tutoring company that provides programs to schools across the country. Matt and I were having a discussion earlier. He's also a professor, so I applaud him for that dedication that he has as a leader and a teacher to our communities. He also mentioned that he is also a president of a chamber. So we share this path, and that's in Dallas. So if anybody's up in Dallas, you need to make sure that you look Matt up. So please welcome Matt. This next person, Kathy Vogel, a wonderful, beautiful lady at heart, and I love her to death. She is a corporate liaison for Alamo Colleges District Workforce Training Network. She currently works with the Texas Workforce Commission's Skills for Business grant. This is a small business with fewer than 100 employees. That's how it applies. This is within San Antonio and its surrounding counties. Kathy holds a bachelor's degree of business administration in marketing from San Angelo State University, and an associate's of applied science degree in office occupation from Victoria College in Victoria, Texas, and an associate's of applied science degree in fashion merchandising from B County College. A native Texan from Goliad, Texas, Kathy brings over 20 years of marketing, advertising, and public relations experience to the Alamo Colleges district. She has served as the U.S. Army Exceptional Family Member Program Marketing and Outreach Manager, overseeing services to over 70,000 Army service members and families, headquartered in San Antonio, Texas. So please, everyone, welcome Kathy Vogel. And last but certainly not least, the woman that I believe has a strong passion to drive our community to the next level, Miss Jane Gonzalez, who is President and CEO to MedWheels Incorporated. Resonating from as a San Antonio native in the strong demeanor of a compassionate woman who sets no boundaries, only opportunities for her life, and lives of countless others. As founder of MedWheels, Jane says it's not simply a company to her, it's a mission. She sets the stage as a leader, a visionary, a pioneer, and a political activist to promote patients who are under medical distress, offering all of the same conveniences and care as a hospital provides, but in the comfort of their own home and their own happy surroundings. After graduating Our Lady of the Lake University, Jane moved to Houston and in the early 1980s relocated to the East Coast, where for the last 7 years before starting MedWheels, she was involved in the defense industry. Jane served as a general manager and built a network protectors for the military. The idea to switch career paths took a turn as Jane's brother Roland proposed the idea to form a medical home care company. This was a huge leap for Jane, but she thought this was a great path for her. And in June of 2005, MedWheels opened its doors to the community. And then again in September of 2007, home health care was introduced as their base. So today, MedWheels is the premier company with excellent staffing, providing comfort to the community. So please welcome Jane. All right, now we've got through our introductions. So here we go. Here's another look at your panelists and their names. All right, Jenny, let's start with you. We have a series of questions. If you'll kindly attack the first one.
Absolutely. So before, yes, sorry, went into Marine Corps mode. So good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Before you get all caught up reading the questions, what I'd love to know is who's in the room. It's really helpful for this discussion because we are coming with these, different foci. So the first thing that I'm really curious about in terms of who's in the room is who's had a business between you're like, I'm just getting started, I rolled out of bed yesterday and I was like, I need to have a business. So between that moment and let's say year one, if you're here very, very early, raise your hands. You can proudly raise your hands, it's okay. Congratulations for taking the jump. All right, so great. And then from about 2 years to 4 years, who's in the room? You all still have hair, congratulations. Congratulations, but I'd see the sleepy eyes and the stress, I get that. And then who are our game changers who've been in the game for more than 5 years?
Wow.
Great, awesome, fantastic. So The reason I like to do that is that it's helpful for us to know where we are. And so for me and probably the rest of my colleagues here is to really also tailor what we're going to talk about so that it hopefully has the greatest impact for everyone in the room. So we have folks in the whole span of entrepreneurship and running a business. So what's the one thing that is really critical for businesses? What's the one thing? Anyone, the first thing that comes to your mind, what's the one thing that's really, really critical when you're either launching your business, you're midway in your business, or you're running to the next level? Yes, ma'am? You have to know your market. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, way in the back. Processes. Okay, great. So, all cash flow, all those things. So, in terms of my first question, the 4 pillars that are really critical for your business that you need to really look at each and every day or every week or however often that you're doing your process. There's operations, so that's the processes, how things get done inside of your business to make sure it runs efficiently. Finance is the other one. Where's your money coming from? Where is it going? And how are you tracking it, more importantly? And it can't be on just a little napkin. Sorry, y'all. And marketing, so getting you known in the world. A great panel earlier. Kyle was on there, and a couple other folks were on there. It was a great panel talking about, that whole juicy area of getting known. And then finally, sales, which is all about getting paid. So that's the first 4 for me that are really critical. And the one really important thing in all of this is all of those 4 pillars are captured in a business plan. And so it is really, really, really important, as much as we want to do this from our minds. If you're like me, I have it all in my head, and that's where it floats. And unfortunately, that's where I also forget things, or things get overridden and all that. So it's really important to have a plan. For my business, I had, those really wonderful, 40-page business plans. They were big and amazing, and it took me forever because I didn't know what the heck was on them. And so for some people, that may stop you from even starting your business because you're like, I can't do that plan. And so I created a 1-page business plan, which every day I look at what are the top things that I said I'm going to do in my business. So I keep it really kind of forefront in my mind.
Wonderful. Thank you. Let's go on to the next question. What are the 3 things business owners should do, and entrepreneurs each day?
So spoiler alert, I just gave away the first one, which is have your business plan, but have it in something that you can see it, that every member, if you have a team, that every member of your team knows where they are located inside of that plan, right? It's super duper important. How many of you go on a trip these days without either putting on your GPS or pulling out your old school roadmap? How many of you do? Raise your hand. You go from here to California without it. No, we have a roadmap, right? So why do we do something different in our businesses? Why are we such geniuses in our business? We're like, oh, I can just wake up, ruffle my hair, and I'm going to be off and running and make a multi-million-dollar company. It doesn't work. So it's really important to have your business plan. And again, if you're just starting out, it can be really overwhelming, right? Anyone tried to write a business plan based on that model, the template and the whatever, and you're doing it at night after your steady everyday gig, and you're trying to do your side hustle and make it your full-time replacement and all that kind of stuff, and you're looking at that thing going, I don't even know my marketing plan. I have no idea. Sales, who? My customers? I don't know. So get something that's functional for you. That's a great roadmap. I do it in 1 page because that's my attention span. The other thing that a business owner and entrepreneurs need to do every day is to review your revenue and your profit. How much money do I need to bring in, and what should that profit look like every single day? Because if you don't, what's the point? Right? If you go into business as your full-time, or even if you're trying to do it as a side hustle or side gig, if you're doing all this outlay of time and energy, you're sacrificing your family, your children, your love, whatever, your health, you got to really make sure that you're in it to generate profit, revenue, and profit. So know what your numbers need to be each day. And the reason I say each day is that organizes your time. If you don't think about what do I need to accomplish today to generate $1,000 or $20,000, whatever your number is, then anything will come and jump on your schedule, right? Random meetings, random whatever, television, the refrigerator, if you're working from home, right? So anything, so it's really important. And then finally, one of the most important things that you have to do for yourself, and this is in any business, is schedule time to take care of yourself. Self-care is critical. Men, women, it is critical for your well-being. It is critical to the health and well-being of your company. It is critical to the health and well-being of your family. So make sure you schedule that time. 3 myths that cost you lots of time and lots of money. The first one that we all make when we're trying to get our business up and running is the myth that everybody is my client. Oh, I want to serve everybody. Let's say someone makes t-shirts, right? I'm in training leadership development. And the hardest thing for our company is to make sure we keep homing in on who is our ideal client, who is the people that we need to be talking to directly in our social media, in our conversations, like who is that? So everyone is not your client, full stop. And the sooner you get clear of that and get clear on that, the quicker you can double down and start generating the profit and revenue that you want to in your business. The other thing, and I've had actually some pushback around this, but is that marketing, like the billboards and all that, is what gets you paid. It does not. It gets you known, right? So we're on this panel. We are volunteering. So this is marketing, right? Someone out there may resonate with something that we say and then engage the next conversation, which will become potentially for us a sales conversation. So marketing gets you paid. And what happens is we spend so much time on websites, on expensive media people, when we're not ready, we're not clear, but we think that's the thing to do. Or even business cards and all that. How many of you are going to take the business cards you got today and follow up on them? Like, you don't have to raise your hands. Okay, for real, for real? How many of you at home or in your office have a stack this high, like you wish you could make some sort of collage of all the beautiful things, and everybody said, I'm going to do that, and I have ones that have to cost per card. It has to be like a $50 card. It's like platinum with gold edging and rubies, and the problem is that anymore, like, we don't really follow through with that. Like, that's just truth to the room, right? We follow through with the 1 or 2 people, and then they may not follow back, right? So imagine how much money we're spending on business cards, just as a small piece of collateral. And then finally, where we're spending all of our time, this is a big myth, we spend all of our time building that website because that's going to drive my business. No, it's not. Relationships drive your business. Go get to know somebody, talk to somebody, sit next to somebody, find out if they're your ideal client, and find out if there's something that you can serve them with. I'm Jennie Dufresne, the Chief Executive Officer of the Dufresne Solutions Group, a training and leadership development company. Thank you.
Thank you, Jennie. And her phone number and email are listed there on that slide if you'd like to continue these conversations offline. So if anybody wants to write that down.
202.
Let's go back. See it at the bottom of the screen.
202-276-6226. I'm going to be putting together a small business leader roundtable for those of you that are tired of being alone and not having mentors and other folks to work with. Give me a buzz, or you can hit me, shoot me an email, build@dsolutionsllc.com. Or my website is seekleadership.com.
Thank you, Jennie. This was great. And this is really important. This is the same information that we echo with the chamber. And I'm sure you'll probably agree. We always tell folks on those calendars that we have that tracks our entire life, we always tell people, the business owners, to inject time for themselves, whether it's 30 minutes or an hour, or maybe it's 2 days, but you've got to do it because you cannot be making critical financial decisions if you haven't gotten enough rest and if you haven't done for yourself. So it's really, really important. And that sometimes is what takes down a business. You wouldn't think so, but I've talked to many business owners, and they've all said that same thing. I just don't know what happened. One day I'm in business, and the next day I'm not. Well, that's not true. So I'm sure we could probably all agree on that. All right. That's the alarm that says our time is up with Jennie. Hey, I'm keeping track up here. We're not going to run over because I'm sure everybody's hungry. All right, Mr. Matt Houston, please attack those questions.
Great. Christy, thank you for moderating and being so timely
I'm on it.
with your responsibility. Secondly, I want to thank all of you for being here at this small business forum, because this is how businesses are built. It's not just working in the office and beating your head on the wall, but it's coming together and noticing that there are other people with bruises on their heads, and they're like, how'd you get that bruise? Well, payday was Friday, and I was trying to figure out how to pay my staff so that I can continue working. And so forums like this are very therapeutic for entrepreneurs, for panelists. And so I want to thank you all for investing today in that. I don't want to take that for granted. Thirdly, I want to thank Jennie for definitely raising this bar up for me to bring my A game.
Come on,
So
A-game.
I got it for you now. No, I'm joking around. I'm really blessed to be here and to be on this panel because I care about business. I care about small business because I still believe that that's the lifeblood of our country. It's the lifeblood of building economic ecosystems in your family, which builds wealth and posterity. It helps build your community, which allows your loved ones to be empowered so that we can improve not only by the bottom line financially, but also create leaders so we can have infrastructure in education and politics. But most importantly, it builds our country, because when we have a voice and we have collateral and we have resources to leverage to move the needle across the country, it's definitely needed. And so my focus, or my foci, my three questions, I want to focus more on institutional strategies, on how entrepreneurs can work together to be ready for the technological age. I am a fringe millennial. I'm the age of 34. I'm a serial entrepreneur. Started my first business at 13 because my father said, you are no longer having allowance. You have 3 months to cut these yards so you can have a year worth of allowance because I'm not paying you any more money. And so, he's an entrepreneur, or was an entrepreneur, and really loved small businesses. My mom was an educator, a retired educator. And so by the time I entered college, I had that burning passion to blend both in education and entrepreneurship. And so one of the questions that I thought of this week that I want to address and have a dialogue is, what are the major challenges small businesses face in our current economic environment? A lot of people can say cash flow, and it was Jennie explained eloquently on the four issues. From my purview, I think not only having a business plan, but also evolving and executing your plan is key. A lot of entrepreneurs have great intentions to start a business plan and to create this business. And once that happens, whether your business plan is 4 pages or 40 pages, we abandon it because life happens. To be honest with you, when you wake up at 5, 6 a.m. and you're thinking about your business, you're not thinking about what you wrote on a Word document 2 months ago. You're worried about how to keep the lights on. You're worrying about how you can make payroll. You're worrying about how you can fulfill what your client asked and paid you to do. And so sometimes we can deviate from our business model. And if we do that too much without altering or adjusting, which there's nothing wrong with adjusting your business plan, we tend to get lost. And when we get lost, we tend to fall by the wayside and not maximize our economic potential. And so one of the major challenges is for us, is that we don't fully execute on our business plan, nor do we effectively evolve our plan to work with what we're doing. Secondly, my second question, with heavy emphasis on automation and technology, how can businesses keep up with the ever-changing demand? As a millennial, people can assume that I say every company needs to be a tech company from 2018 on. That's not necessarily true, because business, small business, is still heavily focused on relationships. It's still heavily focused on human capital. You need to use technology as a tool. It needs to be in your toolbox. It needs to be a larger tool than what most of us use, but we cannot replace the power of human capital interaction, because we are not at the point where we're not at the point where robots are dictating our every move or leadership decisions. People are. And so I would think how we keep businesses up with an ever-changing demand is, one, being able to identify and understand your strength and stick with that strength. Small businesses and entrepreneurs tend to be desperate. I do this all the time, especially when I feel that I have the power to be everything to everyone. But that's not necessarily the case. And so knowing who you are and knowing how you use technology and your strategy to implement and build relationships with the right people to improve your business, I think that will allow you to stay relevant in an ever-changing world. Because when you are in line with key brokers or power people who are changing policies, who are changing how the industry operates, you can be agile enough to change your business with it. And that's based on human interaction. Third question, what are some resources small businesses can use in order to maximize productivity? As a small business, you don't have the bandwidth of a corporation to be able to hire a marketing agency, to hire someone in HR, to hire a legal expert, to hire a CPA, to do all of these things with your limited budget. Entrepreneurs are one-stop shops. From 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., I'm the financier. From 9 to 10:30, I'm marketing. From 10:30 to 2, I'm a salesman. From 2 to 5, I need help. From 5 to 9, you're everything to everyone, and it's exhausting. And by the time you are either at home or you decompress and getting ready for the next day, you have a task list of 10 or 20 things you still need to do, but you're just tired. And so resources are crucial. Chambers of commerce are crucial. Business leagues are crucial. Are they crucial for self-marketing? Not necessarily. I think, and I'm going to put my professor hat on, if you were to get 100 points for that answer and you say a Chamber of Commerce is for marketing, you will probably get 10 out of 100. You get 10% correct. Because it's true. You can promote your business at a Chamber of Commerce or a business league. But my father always told me, what you put in is what you will always get out. And if you're only putting in selfish means of, I'm just going to use this chamber to find 100 contacts, you're not going to maximize it. Chambers of commerce are to find a place of kindred spirits to uplift your spirit, to give you a little bit more energy, so when you get home at 8 p.m., you can say, all right, I have 2 hours because I know Bob or I know Amy is having the same frustrations I have, so I'm not alone. That's one resource. The second important purpose of groups, business entities, groups, social groups, business social groups, is so that you can network. And networking does not mean the first person to pass out 100 cards is the winner. A true networker is able to understand what you need, and when you talk to people and you can identify a mutual connection, you dig deep. When you dig deep, that's when you're able to get your soft sell, build your relationship, and be effective. Those type of reasons, those type of things are why chambers of commerce are very important. Those type of reasons are why conferences and forums like this are super important. I wish I could touch every single one of you all today and have a conversation. But because of time scarcity, I'm not able to do that. And so when you're able to touch one or two people or resonate with something that's said from a panelist, it's really important to know what exactly you need out of it so that you can be effective with it. The last thing on business entities, chambers of commerce, it's needed because we need your power and energy to become advocates for the macro stage. Being a member of a chamber of commerce does not mean I just want to help my business, but you want to make some everlasting changes either in your city, whether it's doing work with quasi-governmental or full governmental entities, so you can change policies, because policy changes is what drives the economy. You need state organizations like TAC, the Texas Association of African American Chambers of Commerce, so that they can be an advocate for you at the Capitol during this 86th legislative session.
Absolutely.
Because we don't have the bandwidth to go to Austin every week. We have a representative, we have a body to be able to do that. And we have to, as business owners, trust. We have to trust that these entities are going to be for our positive benefit.
Thank you, Matt. Very profound. And you got to remember, no business, you should never live or die by the chamber, even though we love our chambers very much. And the schedule you were talking about, that sounds like mine. There's a lot to do. So when you call me as a member, you know, I'm going to get to you. It's just I have to be 20 other people right now. So we are all in that same boat together. So Kathy.
Okay, let me put on my glasses. Sorry about that, guys. Is this on? Okay, now it's off.
This is on.
That one's on for sure. Okay, hello everyone. Good morning. I know you're all starving because I am too. But I would like to first of all applaud all of you for coming out today to find out what tools you would need in order to grow your business. And I guess I want to briefly tell you about Alamo Colleges and the best kept secret that you can now go out and tell all of the other small businesses in San Antonio and the surrounding areas. Alamo Colleges, we have 5 campuses all over San Antonio, and I'm sure a lot of you have probably received your associate's degree from one of our campuses and went on to universities. But one of our best kept secrets that we have within Alamo College is our continuing education department. We are called the Workforce Training Network, and under that umbrella comes the corporate college. Corporate college is one in which we as corporate liaisons, and I have another one here with me, there's 3 corporate liaisons, and so I'm going to embarrass her and have her to stand up. Christina Sanchez, she is one of my colleagues, and what we do as corporate liaisons, we go out and visit businesses, meet with employers that want training for their employees, whether they're large or small businesses. Christina handles our sales team, and what we do, or what she does, is go out and visit with larger businesses that are willing to pay for training for their employees. We have Raquel Perez, actually handles our reoccurring accounts that we do have, and I handle the Skills for Small Business partnership with the Texas Workforce Commission. And that is a unique area. So I guess you want me to go on to the next question,
Absolutely,
right?
please.
We're going to roll right along. But before we do that, I would like to ask, The question here is, what are some of the eligibility requirements for a small business in order to receive no-cost training? I would like to see the hands of those businesses that have 1 to 99 employees. Raise your hands. Be proud, okay? All right? Okay, and just for, and don't be embarrassed when I'm gonna ask you this question. How many have under 5 employees, a business under 5 employees? I applaud you because you're the hardest working individuals and businesses in San Antonio and surrounding areas. So be proud of that, because a lot of times I go to some meetings and guess what? They're like, no, you're the ones that we're here to help the most. And with that said, I want to tell you a little bit about the Best Kept Secret and the partnership with Texas Workforce Commission. The Texas Workforce Commission came up with the skills for small businesses to help businesses under 100 employees grow. And with that said, they wanted to see what courses could we offer to small businesses that employees need to upskill their staff. We came up with a flyer, and we do have a table out front with a lot of 8-hour workshop trainings that can be offered at no cost. And what are your eligibility for that, even if you only have 1 or 2 employees? Well, first of all, you have to be registered with Texas Workforce Commission, pay your unemployment taxes. Your employees have to be full-time employees in order to receive free training. I'm sorry, no-cost training. Okay, got to make sure I get that right. No-cost training. And you have to pay your employees prevailing wage. If you meet those qualifications and you have employees that work with you or started working with you from day 1 up to almost a year, TWC is willing to pay for the tuitions and fees for that employee is $1,800 for the year. Now that's only for continuing education and the small business classes that we offer for the employees. The academic is a little bit different breed, but we try to stick with the continuing education courses because we understand employers can't afford to send their employees out for a long period of time for training. So we want to help you in those needs. Now let's say, okay, Kathy, I have employees, but we've been together for longer than a year. Well, TWC did not leave you out. As a matter of fact, they offer $900 a year in tuition and fees paid for your training classes. And this includes books. So you can get to walk away with something and you can use it. The beauty of all of this, turn and burn, is that we have customized some of these classes to where you can apply them immediately. The biggest thing that we have going right now is forklift. So you're going, why forklift? Because we have, the businesses already have their own equipment. We have instructors that actually go out to the site and train using their own equipment. So therefore, the employer doesn't have to go back and read a manual and try to figure out how to work that piece of equipment. They're actually learning that day. Okay, so that's some of the benefits. I'm going right into the benefits of it, of the courses. And not only that, as far as the benefits for the no-cost training, the employer actually sees results with their employees, like right on the spot. We had one class which was teamwork, team building. It's an exercise in which the employees not only get to talk about what's going on, but how can they work better as a team. The employer called me back following the class the next day, and he said, I didn't attend that training, but what did you tell my employees? Because now they're all just geared up. They're volunteering to do more than what I asked them to do. They're laughing. They're actually able to get along with each other. When's your next class? So those are some of the results that we've had. And the beauty of it is we do have, again, flyers with some of the courses on there. And if you are a small business, like the ones that raise their hands with just 1 or 2 employees, do not feel like you're left out, because we do have a consortium of other businesses that actually can help you or do a class together. We also partner with Bexar County. Renee just left the room. We partner with UTSA. We also partner with any other schools, colleges, businesses, organizations, especially the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, the Hispanic contractors. We're getting ready to do it with the African American contractors. All different organizations. We want to play a part in helping you to help your people grow their businesses. And so with that said, I mean, we can help you. Now, how many companies here are over 100 employees? Good. I'm glad there's none here. So this is our best kept secret. We do have some classes coming up in February. I was discussing with Janie. We had actually did a partnership. As a matter of fact, I was so happy that Matt touched on something about relationships. When we meet one-on-one, because we want to form a relationship in which you, as the employer, get to sit down with me and we talk about what are your areas that you want to grow. So when you actually reach out to me, don't be surprised that I'm going to come and sit down and talk with you, and we're going to work out a strategy on setting up the dates for your trainings, the times you want to offer your trainings, the slowest period of time in your work schedule, and also the location. That's the benefit of it, is that you don't have to come to the campuses to have the training. It can also be offered at your location as long as you have the minimum number of employees to meet that qualification. If not, the last one we had was QuickBooks. We had 11 businesses all come together to take the QuickBooks class at Northwest Vista College. And they loved it. And out of that, they all said, we all want to get together again and do the next group of training. So we formed partnerships, friendships. They shared their resources. And the next classes that we're offering are in February, are QuickBooks, teamwork, team building. We have customer service is our number one thing. So if you want to sign up for those classes, we can do it for you today. So with that said, I guess I've covered everything.
4 seconds left. That's it.
I'm done.
Thank you, Kathy. And I know I've worked with, actually, Christina, and I've worked with some of the other staff of Alamo Colleges. The West Chamber uses Alamo Colleges as a resource. We're working to put a few classes together from our end. And again, it's the same thing that we're talking about. It's what fits you as a business owner and your staff. Sometimes you get very stressed as a business owner, and that is projected onto your employees, and they need a bit of a refresher. Sometimes just getting in front of a new trainer, a new person, breathes life back into your business that you didn't realize was capable. So just think about that. Okay, so Jane Gonzalez, let's get started with you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I don't do well speaking sitting down, so I hope you don't mind if I stand up. I have ADD, so you know how that goes. I want to thank everybody in here. I'm a small business owner, and I know that when I come out to events, it really takes away from me being productive at work. It's a major imbalance that sometimes I just want to recognize that that time is very, very, very crucial. I appreciate that. And I'm going to talk about, I'm going to try to plant a seed in your strategy. I'd like for you to really open up your minds, open up your hearts, look at your company, and I'm going to pose some questions to you to see if perhaps you could be moved into looking at areas that maybe you never even thought of. Like, let's say, open your eyes. So there are some, who in this room has a business strategy? Want to raise your hand? Okay, so everybody in the room, take a look at this, because this is really, really important for all of us. a very small percentage is having a strategy, and I think that Matt and Jenny mentioned that it's so crucial. How can we grow? How can we sustain if we're not looking at a strategy? So I think maybe that's going to be the first seed that maybe you can walk away with. So I'm going to talk about you guys looking at the possibility of expanding your business through exporting. So that if you look at the marketplace, there are countries, Panama, Peru, we have Mexico. There's a lot of conversations today with the government regarding trade agreements and policies, including Canada. So that there are countries that are actually demanding companies sourced from the U.S. And one might ask the question, why? Why would Mexico, why would Peru want to source from a U.S.-based company? And the answer is that currently many of them are sourcing from China. But what they are discovering over time is that the products are not sustainable. They have very poor quality. So at the end of the day, they're paying double for what it is that they're buying cheap. So what they're asking now is, can we source product from US-based companies? But this is really what's really exciting. I just found this out recently, and I get so excited about this stuff. Is that they not only want to source from US-based companies, they want to source from companies like us. Can you imagine that? And so not only do they want to source from companies like us, but they're providing policies that make it easier for us to go into their countries to provide them with what they need. Isn't that awesome? I think we should clap over that. Awesome. So I'm going to give you three areas for you to really consider just thinking outside the box. I get criticized because I'm never in the box, but anyway, that's me.
Great place to be.
Somebody said, why do you create a box? So yeah, we don't have a box. So export centers, and in fact, we have somebody in the room, Roberto. Would you like to stand up, please? All right. This is the best kept secret until I found out recently. So the export centers, they provide a lot of resources. So one of the things has to do with readiness. And I'm just going to sum up because Matt and Jenny already hit on it. Do you have a business plan? Do you have the resources? Do you have the capital? What is your ready mode if you want to scale up? I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be where I'm at today next year. I want to be like this next year. I want to scale rapidly. So what they can also do is look at, based on your NAICS codes, based on your sector, based on your industry, what they can also do is find those markets. Where in the whole world are you best suited to do business in those countries? And then the last thing, well, resources, they are fantastic. They've given my company a lot of resources because it's a vertical learning curve, and they've been fantastic in terms of providing resources. And the last thing is opportunities execution. So that let's go on a trade mission. Let's go on a conference so that we're not alone. That's the problem with us companies. We cannot do things alone, and Matt hit on it. We have to create alliances. We have to create those leaders because singularly, no one's going to listen to us. We're too small. We get criticized. We get knocked down. But if we can have leaders that stand side by side with us and say, I vouch for this company. I vouch that they're ready to scale up. So that's where the best opportunity and success can come in. The next one is the Global Chamber of Commerce. And Mr. Herring, would you like to stand up, please? And we talk about global chambers of commerce. It's very important for us to collaborate. We cannot operate in silos because silos will keep us low. Our voice is not heard. And policies don't change. So it's really important to step out and get involved with the local community. What I love about the Global Chamber is that they are in 525 metros, 195 countries. I didn't even know that many countries existed. 195 countries, and it's all under one umbrella. Can you imagine that? One network, one tribe that is dancing to the same music. That is so beautiful. So their mission is accelerating success by helping them move more quickly. Doesn't that sound fantastic? When have you ever heard anybody saying to you, gee, I'm going to help you, accelerate, but I'm not going to wait, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years. No, we're going to do it now. I don't know about you, but I want to do it now. Connecting more companies into those metros. So let's say that you're in San Antonio, you're looking into Mexico, so that now there's going to be a source there that can say, you know what, we've got these relationships in Mexico. Why don't we create those alliances? Why don't we create those communications? And that's going to be highly, highly critical, because if you're new to the idea of exporting, that type of sport is going to be very important. Collaborating. We just talked about collaborating. How many in this room are involved in the community? Either through chambers of commerce, sitting on boards. Okay, the rest of you guys that are not, I really encourage you. We need you. Small companies need you. The community needs you, because your voice matters. There's no one that understands more than the challenges running the business than us in the room. Us in the room is what's going to create that major difference where the barriers to entry and all the other problems that we have. So I really encourage you that if you're not, seek out, because I think you have something to add. There's a value that you can add that we can all benefit from. The last thing I'd like to talk about Port San Antonio. Can you, Marcel? So Port San Antonio is an excellent resource in that they have tremendous amount of assets that if you're ready to go into that scalability and exporting, they have so many resources and assets, logistical support that can really step in and help out with that. Now, this is really important. You guys, I really want you to listen to this part of the conversation, because it's going to impact our community. Our communities are not benefiting because we're doing more on recruitment, where we want to go to China, we want to go to Germany, we want to bring in the jobs, but nobody is really looking at what can we do organically, what can we do with economic gardening, that if you're in the south side, the east side, the west side, what can we do to help you grow locally in the dollar state here in town? So I'm going to talk about second stage companies. Second stage companies they're the workforces of the U.S. Workforces. We generate more jobs and more economic value than any other category. The startups typically do not have the scalability that a second stage company is. Now, somebody asked me the question, what is a second stage company? Anybody? Man, I have a quiet audience. Come on now, I need your help. Come on now. A second stage company, according to the Edward Lowe Foundation, is a company that has $1 million of revenue, 10 to 99 employees, and a minimum of 3 years in business. Okay, because these companies are beyond startup. These companies have proven sustainability. I'll share my story with you. We go through health problems. My dad got sick 2 years ago. He actually passed away. So that my company had to be on hold for three months, because at that point, my family was more important. We go through the economic challenges of the political policy changes. We go through family distress. We go through financial problems. There are so many problems that sometimes I don't think people give us enough credit. Just to open the doors every single day. And the fact that we can keep those lights going every day is it's a testament to God, because I believe that all of us are in business for a purpose that is bigger than us. Everything that we do is not for me, it's not for my business, but it's to serve the community, that I can make a difference in our community and families where there is no hope. We can bring hope to them. So the second stage companies, they represent 17% of companies in the U.S., 17. But they generate 37% in sales and 37% in jobs. That's why they're called workhorses. 37% of jobs and 36% of revenue. So what that means is that if you look at the south side of San Antonio, the west side, the east side of San Antonio, we've got these second stage companies that are creating so much economic value, but yet, because of the fact that they're not getting the support, they're not getting the resources, they're not getting the contracting opportunities, those families are not being transformed. We still have multi-generational illiteracy and poverty, even though that we're still recruiting. So what I challenge us is that we need to change that mindset and say, you know what, I am here. I am local. Second stage companies are creating tremendous amount of value. We have proven sustainability. So then you ask me, well, why are you talking about second stage companies and the Global Chamber and the Export Chamber and Port San Antonio? The reason is because the strategies align together. Like Matt said it and Jenny said it, we cannot work in silos. We have to work as a tribe. So around the United States, I encourage you to go to the Edward Lowe Foundation, because there are cities like New York, cities like Phoenix, cities like Orange County, California, Philadelphia. I'm going to give you an example. This is a beautiful story. I used to live in Philadelphia. I used to work at Breyer's Ice Cream Plant that used to be right across the street from the University of Pennsylvania. University of Pennsylvania is on the east side of Center City. They don't call them downtown in Philly, they call it Center City. But it was riddled with prostitution, with drugs. The real estate housing was horrendous. You know, jobs, we couldn't place jobs because everybody kept failing the drug test. And there was just this look at San Antonio. I mean, I'm not going to tell you, but I'm sure that you can think of a couple of images here in San Antonio that may have that similar distressed neighborhood. So University of Pennsylvania said, you know what, I'm going to get together with the local leaders. We got to make a difference. There's got to be something that we can do to transform. So University of Pennsylvania got together with local leaders, got together with chambers of commerce, got together with the local collaborators, and they said, you know what, I'm going to focus buying local. Local. I'm going to put my money in whatever it is that I need. I'm going to not spend my money in New York. I'm not going to send it out of this community. I'm going to keep it. Guys, guess what happened? Anybody want to take a wild guess?
Transformation.
Come on now. Come on now. In 10 years, it took 10 years. University of Pennsylvania poured $1 billion into that community, and guess what's happening today? It's vibrant. Families got put to work. The real estate housing went up. Jobs got created. Where those families had no hope, they found hope. So this is happening not only in Philadelphia, it's happening in New York. And so this is why I just really want, hopefully I can deliver something to you to plant a seed, look at your strategy, get involved. Because I have so much passion in that I say to all of our local leaders, I say to all of our politicians, I say to the state of Texas, enough with the wah, 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 we need to see it in action. The only way we're going to see it in action is to see these neighborhoods being transformed. So that's how you can get involved with policy changing. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Very powerful, very powerful. Thank you, Jane, for that. I saved her for last because I knew the information was going to be heavy. But it's really important. What Jane is saying is very truthful and should really resonate in each one of us. We have to be there. We have to contribute to our communities. We understand that you already have a load on your shoulders, but there are small opportunities. If you only did one thing that you added to your day-to-day business, it could really change an entire community. So please be mindful of that. These folks are wonderful, and they are more than willing to have offline conversations, as am I. So please continue. Don't just walk by. Make sure you introduce yourself and make sure you follow up on all those business cards. I know everyone is ready for lunch, but I'm going to take a point of privilege here. If you came to the West San Antonio Chamber table and signed up for our newsletter, we brought this cookie jar just to give a little something back in the Christmas spirit. So we randomly pulled names out of that list that you filled out, and thank you for leaving your email address with us. We will definitely safeguard it. So let's see who's here. Do we have a Tony Tovar? He must be present to win. So we've randomly chosen these people. Tony Tovar, no? All right, going once, going twice. How about a Simon Garcia? Simon? Congratulations. Thank you, Simon, for signing up. And just so you know, that jar of cookies, that was made by a small minority, woman-owned, veteran-owned business here in San Antonio. I work with that husband and wife exclusively, and those are all hand decorated. That took a lot of time. So everyone, thank you very much for your time and your patience. Now we're going to change over into the lunch, but please